Hello.
Hi.
How are you?
Good. How are you?
Good. First of all, thank you so much for being here.
Thank
it means
you.
the world to me.
Thank you for having me. I'm so happy to be here.
Really, really awesome. I remember I met you last year through Dia, and I remember I was at an event. I can't remember. What was it again?
We were at a Ramadan iftar.
Right.
Yeah.
And there was you and some other girls. And I remember I was talking to you, and then I said to Dia, I said, who is she? You just had something, I think I told you that before, like you really have something where people are like, ooh, who is this person? And then she told me about you, and I was like, oh, damn. Okay. That's really amazing.
Aw, thank you.
So
You also just came to us with such like good vibes and like positive energy, and you just like came over and you were like, hi guys, and we were like, hey.
Really, I feel like everyone looked at me as like, who are you? What do you want?
We loved it. We were like, who is she?
And all the whole group, they're like very like powerful girls.
Yeah, they are, and they're so nice at the same time, but they're all like very real, very grounded, and really like nice, but also very powerful as well.
Right. I wanted to ask you, like, how long have you been in Dubai now?
I've been here 5 years, 5.5 years.
Okay.
So yeah, that's when I moved here.
How do you like it?
I love it. I love it. I feel like this is home now. Like I couldn't imagine myself anywhere else.
Really?
Yeah.
Because I was just about to ask you, because you are originally from Pakistan, right?
Well, my mum is from Pakistan.
Right.
And my dad is British.
And then you grew up in the UK?
I grew up in the UK, yeah. So I was born and bred in the UK.
Okay. How was it growing up in the UK?
It was good. It was at times a bit rough, but also fun.
In what way was it rough?
I guess just the upbringing in terms of like being a brown person in the UK. It's not always easy. I think where I grew up, it was very like white dominated.
Right.
So that in itself is a bit of a challenge, but I feel like I grew a lot from that experience anyway. But yeah, growing up, I was like the only brown kid in school. And then when I got to like the end of the years, one extra brown person came, and that was my sister.
Are you serious?
Yeah.
Oh, wow. So how was that for you? Like, did you get a lot of like bullying, or did you like, were they including you guys, or you and your sister, or were you more like a lonely child in that way at school?
I was never like a lonely child. I feel like I was a bit of an in-betweener. I got along with everybody. So I got along with like all the different groups. I was always like one of those people that I like get along with everyone. But I guess in the UK, when you just feel like, where do I belong? Where do I like really belong? But I think anybody who's like immigrated to a different country would relate to that.
Right. I mean, for me, the same. And I just had a conversation with someone else. Like, I am originally from Iran, but we had to, we were refugees in Switzerland. So I know the feeling. It's like, well, I had a few people in my class who looked a little bit similar how I looked, but it was always really hard for me because I don't know if you relate or not, but when you look different than your friends, you try everything that's in your power to look like your friends, right?
Yeah,
and my friends were like white, blue eyes, blonde hair, right? Yeah. And so I tried so hard to look exactly like them.
I think also
failed.
The beauty norms were different back then. Like when I was at school, like the beauty icon was like Britney, Christina, like Jessica Simpson, like that was like the beauty ideal, Paris Hilton. So like everyone aspired to that anyway. And I guess like now it's changed, like the beauty ideal is different. So we feel like we fit in again.
Do you feel like that? Like, do you feel like sometimes I'm still like,
I do. I feel like it switched and it never went back.
Okay. So how many brothers, do you have brothers?
I've got 3 younger sisters.
Oh, so, yeah. Interesting.
Yeah. And actually 2 of them are in fashion. So I started a whole thing.
They're also in fashion?
Yeah.
How did that come about?
Well, after I graduated, my sister then went to uni. She did fashion marketing or fashion business.
Right.
But she works in e-com. She worked for she's in high luxury fashion. She worked for Victoria Beckham. Now she works for JW Anderson. So she's kind of looking after the e-com and the website. And then my sister after that, she is like a proper Gen Z creative. She's like different to me and Emma, because me and Emma are more like fashion creatives, but we got onto like a career ladder, and we had, you know, like different things that we had to do to get promoted and like move forward. But Bisma's different. She just kind of like, she's got like 5 different jobs, one different job for each day of the week. So she's working for like Harvey Nichols doing e-com. She's also working for like a spa. She's doing kind of product development for a spa in Dubai. So she does like a lot of different creative roles, different jobs. Her week's like very different, but she's started in this kind of freelance way. So it's different to me and Emma, but she's doing really well. We're proud of her.
I love that. So you go back to school, you know, done with school. How did H&M happen? Because it's one of the biggest brands, like everyone knows. Like, how did that happen?
So after I finished university, I went back to George. I was there for like 3 more years. I went back to them because they wanted me to come back after I finished my degree. So I went off to do my degree. Before I had even finished, they had already got me to sign a contract and everything to come back. So I knew that that was going to be where I was going to go after my degree was complete. So I went back there, and then I did women's lingerie and nightwear. And then I went on to kidswear. So I learned a few different kind of departments within that brand, and then that's when I started applying for H&M. So I felt like, okay, I need to do this. I felt like I was in a situation where I was in my comfort zone a bit, where I knew the brand really well, I knew the customer really well. I was in a good workflow, I had amazing colleagues, and I had this like trajectory of a good career there. But I just felt like it's now or never. I need to kind of get out of my comfort zone and do something completely different. So I was applying to H&M for a really long time, but again, it is really highly competitive to get in. So it took a long time. I think I was applying for like a year before I got the the job. So there was many different stages. I had to fill in like the online forms and everything, like submit my portfolio, my work, my CV, but then there was like a phone call kind of screening. Then I met in London with some of the head designers and the recruiters in the London office, because they have a small office in London. So I met them there for one of the stages where I talked through my work, my portfolio, my experience with them. And then following that, I had to fly to Stockholm to do an interview. And I actually flew there twice to interview twice with 2 different departments and like the head of recruitment and 2 different departments. But that whole process took a year, from that initial online application to the final kind of offer took like a whole year. So it was a long process.
So they say, okay, you're in, we want to work with you, right? So then were you able to work in London, or did they want you to move to Stockholm?
No, they wanted me to move to Stockholm because everything's done there. So the London office is just like, I guess, for interviewing, a small presence, but in terms of like all the work, it's done in Stockholm. So all the designers are there, all the buyers, the merchandisers, everyone. There's thousands and thousands of people that work there. The head office is huge. It's massive. But when they offered me the job, I did reject it.
After 1 year, you rejected the job? Why?
So she called me and they were like, you've got the job. And I was like, amazing. And then I freaked. And I was like, it was that whole thing of like, oh my God, I'm moving. I'm going to like move to another country I don't know. I'm leaving all my friends, my family, everyone behind. I'm going to be like the only one. So it was this thing of like panic and just freaking out. So I rejected it. And then she was like, are you sure? You know, like, think about it, take the weekend to think about it. And I was like, no, I'm like, no. And then I took the weekend to think about it, and I was like, right, no, I do want this. Like, I've been working so hard towards this, and I would be silly not to. So I phoned her up on the Monday, and I was like, if you would be willing to have me, I've changed my mind. And she was like, that's great.
So when you were during that weekend, who were you talking to? Like, who did you go through that process with to decide, you know what, actually I do want it? Was it with your parents, your sisters? Like,
yeah, it was my family and also Zaf. So it was like a conversation of like, you know, what to do. Do I move countries? Like, I'm going to be away from all of you guys. And
so wait, so I guess it was like your boyfriend back then?
Yeah, we were together, and we were in those stages of like getting engaged.
Right.
So that was the time of like, you know, my family and his family were both shocked that I was going to be moving abroad. So it was kind of like a bit of a funny time, but he was so supportive, and he's like my biggest supporter. So he was like, you have to go and do this. And so I was like, yeah, I will.
So you are in Sweden. Was the plan for him to move to Sweden? And
this was like something we were talking about like the whole time. So was it, am I going to move to Dubai? Are you going to move to Sweden? Where are we going to live? Like, where do we start our kind of lives together? So this was like a conversation. But at the same time, I was very much, you know, supportive of his career in Dubai, as well as him being the same with me in Stockholm. So we were like, we felt we had to do this for ourselves.
Yeah.
So we were in that kind of stage.
So wait, so you went to Sweden and he went to Dubai?
Yeah. Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
That's interesting.
Yeah, yeah. In the same year. So we both decided to pursue our own like
dreams
careers in that year.
So how long were you in Sweden?
About 4 years.
So you were apart for 4 years?
Yeah. Yeah.
Oh, how hard was that? How did you manage that?
It was hard, but it was also good. Like we became like stronger as a partnership over that time.
Right.
And we learned to support each other in that time. And also I didn't want any regrets later on in life, where neither did he. You know, when we get to a certain age, oh, I didn't do this, or I didn't get to do this kind of thing. So we just wanted to do our own thing.
Right. Oh, I love that. So after 4 years, how did the conversation go with you and your husband? How was the decision made where you're like, you now coming to Dubai or him coming to Sweden? Like, where were you like in that moment, like mentally? Like, did you need a change, or was it because you missed him? Like, what was going through your head?
I think like I had got to a place where I had achieved what I wanted to achieve at H&M, and kind of got to a place where I was like, okay, I'm kind of ready. Like, if I need to move now, I'm ready. So it's a long way to come and a lot to get yourself into, to then leave if you don't feel like you've done your thing. So after about 4 years, I felt like, okay, you know, what are we doing? And he was also like, oh, I can move to Sweden, or you move here. What do we do? So we're exploring both. He was applying for roles in Sweden, and then I was looking at opportunities in Dubai. So we just kind of were back and forth. And then one day I woke up and I was like, that's it, I'm quitting my job and moving to Dubai.
Wow.
So that's what I did.
And then you came here, but you didn't have a job or anything, right? It's like when you got here.
So I applied for a break from H&M for a year, like a study leave. So they said, you know, okay, go and explore. You know, it's like you have to apply for it, and then they'll approve it and stuff. So I took a gap year of 1 year.
So what does that mean? Like,
so you can take that opportunity to go and study another skill if you want to change careers, or if you want to do something different.
And they would still pay for, or
no,
is
they
it just...
they just keep your contract going, but they allow you like some time off to go and study and stuff. So I did that. I studied a few different things here. I did like a course in buying. I did a course in styling. I did a course in graphic design. So it was all still related to fashion, just different parts of it. So I took that year to study, and then I also did freelance work for some of my contacts in the UK. So I did different kind of design work, mood boarding, consulting, like design consulting. So I did that for a year. And then that's when I got into the giving movement, was after that.
Now I want to talk to you about the giving movement. It's one thing that, I, love about you is the whole story, how you got to work with the giving movement. And I want you to share a little bit about it. And then I'll tell you why I just have after hearing your story, why I have so much respect for you. Because I know as a entrepreneur, when you start your own brand, there's not a lot of people who really believe in you. There's a lot of no sayers, and you have to prove yourself over and over again. And then also it's so hard to find the right people who can come and work with you and to build that brand.
Yeah.
And I don't know, I just love the story when Dom, right? Dominic?
Yeah, he's the founder.
He's the founder.
Yeah.
So tell us a little bit on how you met him. Yeah, start with how you met him.
So when I moved here, I was looking for different roles and talking to different people, connecting with different people, and I saw kind of a job ad for the giving movement signed by him, but obviously there was no website or anything to check because it was at the time just an idea. So I didn't apply for the role, but I found him on LinkedIn.
Right.
So I added him on LinkedIn, and then I think maybe 6 months went past, we didn't speak, or I kind of had forgotten that I had sent that request or whatever. And then 6 months later, I can't really remember how long it was, but he then accepted my request and sent me a message. Hi, I'm looking for a designer. I'm looking to launch this brand and looking for a designer to work with me. So we had a phone call, and he was just so passionate and just had such good energy on the phone, and I just felt really excited by it. So we spoke, but then we kind of hit COVID. So we went into COVID and everything kind of went quiet. And in Dubai, it was a real tight lockdown. We couldn't even leave the apartment. So it just felt like the world had stopped, and all of that I had forgotten as well. But then as COVID was kind of coming to an end, that's when I met him. So he sent me another message and was like, oh, let's meet up and have a coffee and stuff. So I went to meet him, and it was just like a chat, just to have a coffee and have a chat about what's going on and stuff. And then he just wanted me to start straight away.
Wow. So you meet with him for coffee and you just have a conversation, and that same night he tells you, I want you to start tomorrow.
Yeah. So I started, I think that was on a Friday, and then I started on the Monday.
Okay. You see, this is what I love. You come from the background, become a dentist and you study fashion, you work for the biggest brands, to now being in Dubai and starting work where you had no idea if it's even going to happen or not.
Yeah.
I want to know, because to me, right there is where I was like, holy moly, I have so much respect for you, because I know as a brand owner how hard it is to convince people to see the vision, right? So I can picture how he was feeling when you decided, yes, I'm going to do it. Why did you say, you come from H&M. I'm pretty sure you could have had every job you wanted, right? You've proven yourself, all the success already. What made you decide, you know what? I'm going to go with you?
I think I had no doubt that it wasn't going to work. Like as soon as he explained his idea and like what he wanted to do and like everything, I didn't for a second think that this isn't going to work out. I just from the beginning just knew it was going to be big.
How did you know that? Like what was it that you said it's going to be huge?
I guess because of Dom, the confidence that he had, like the way he explained it, his energy and passion behind it. It was just felt really real, and it was real, and it was extremely compelling. And I felt like this. I never had a doubt that it wasn't really going to work.
Wow.
So, and also the other thing is, I think in moments like that, you have to remember that the big established brands are always going to be there. They're always going to be there for you to go back to. But these small moments don't come often, like where it's an opportunity to do something new or by yourself or something different, or it's like rare. It's a rare opportunity. So I think it's important to choose the rare opportunities in those moments.
How can people do that? Because a lot of people are so, especially Europeans, it's more about you have to have a secure job, you need your insurance, you need this, you need your income, and everything needs to be organized. And how can people go after what you just said? How can someone be like, you know what? Or realize what you just said, that's a rare, how do you say that? Opportunity, like, and then let me grab it. Like,
Yeah.
How can people notice that and really go after it?
I think it's just about having belief in yourself, knowing that like if you take this opportunity, you're not there to kind of ride the wave, you're there to put everything you have into it to make it work, and you have to put in 110%, and you're part of the reason why it's going to work. Like you have to really believe that you can do it. But the other thing is, I think it's good to take risks. I think my whole career was a bit more on the safe side in terms of, I took the risk to like go into fashion, but then my decisions within like what job I'm going to take, they were a lot more secure with the biggest brands. And I had finally got to a point in my life where I had already kind of quit that and moved here. And I was just open to newness and something completely different. So I was already open to that. And so when that came along, it was everything that I had been manifesting for myself.
Oh, I love that. So you start working with him, right? Because now you come from H&M where there's thousands of people, everything is probably organized, right? Because I'm just looking at it as a entrepreneur myself, and when you start your brand, like a lot, like in the beginning, the first few years, everything is chaotic.
Yeah.
Okay, like you need to wear so many different hats.
Yeah.
And you don't really have any people who really like organize it for you, where you just be like, here's the work, just you go and do it.
Yeah.
So walk me through. You have a conversation on Friday. You're going to start on Monday. How did that go? Like you come in, what was your job?
It was a bit of everything.
Okay.
So I came on Monday. I think my first day, I was barcoding the product to go
Really?
re-barcoding the product like physically with stickers, because we had to get the items out.
So wait, they were already clothes done?
Yeah. So Dom had created the first collection. He had product developed it himself.
Right.
So it was a small collection, but we were riding on, getting it sold. So my first day was just making sure that those items were like leaving and going out, and we were like making some money. So the first thing I did was barcoding on my first day. But
when you were doing that, what was going through your head?
I was like, we've got to do this. We have to get it done. I was like, it has to be done. So there wasn't any other thoughts. I was like, oh my God, we've got to do this. So we just did it. But every day was different. Every day was exciting, it was challenging. I learned a lot. I realized that at H&M I had a lot of help. There was a lot of buffer. There was a lot of process in place. And going from that to a startup, you have to create the processes yourself alongside working against time and trying to get things done quickly, but then you're also trying to set a process at the same time. So that was the first kind of thing I learned when I got there. But also I was the first person on the product team with Dom to start the collections, and then it was more about growing the team. So, a few weeks in, I was like, we need a buyer. And Dom's like, what's a buyer? And we need a merchandiser, we need a garment technician, we need all of these people that can help with this. And so it was just building the team out slowly. But in the beginning, it was just a lot of me and Dom doing everything. And that was just how we ran it in the beginning.
So you have complete freedom of what you're going to design?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. But Dom kind of left it to me. He was very open and happy for me to just start designing. But obviously he's the founder, so wanted to make sure that he's happy with it and it aligns with his vision as well for the brand. But I think in that stage it's just good to experiment and try different things, and also just learn what is your customer wanting right now. And that was the biggest thing for us. And so we were learning that as we were going, and it was always tracking the sales, checking our stock, what's going, do we need to do a reorder, how long is that going to take, how quickly can we get the next collection out. So it was just a race against time.
So how do you decide on what you tell me your thought process of okay, you have all the freedom, you can design whatever you want. Of course, it has to be aligned with the brand and his vision, whatever. But still, there's, I'm sure it was different than from H&M to the Giving Movement, where you're completely free to have your own vision in there as well. How do you decide what kind of designs you're going to do? Walk me through that process.
So I think even though there was this freedom of you can design whatever you want, there's also different kind of constraints. So we had limited amount of fabric, limited type of fabric, limited manufacturing space. Whereas in H&M, when you start a design process, you can design anything and you'll get the fabric. But the situation that we were in was okay, we've got these fabrics in these colors. What do we do with this? So it was kind of starting the process in a different way for me. But the rest of it was, the conceptualization, the mood boarding, the color palettes, the design development, the fitting, that was all the same. We just started in a different part of the process. And then, so we had those kind of constraints because it was we need to use this fabric to make shapes that are going to help us grow. What are those shapes going to be? So we had that kind of, it's a business and creative approach to creating a collection.
But now, the Giving Movement, it's such a huge success, right? I see it everywhere. And just even after I met you, and I know that you're the one behind the designs, and I see people wearing it, I get proud. You know what I mean? I'm like, I know the designer.
Thank
I
you.
love this. You know what I mean? It's really beautiful to see. Why do you think that it became such a great success? Because there's so many brands who fail, right? Why is the Giving Movement one of the dream, that made it?
I think I think there's a whole combination of things that like added up to the success of the brand. I think one is Dom's vision and how like relentless he is in terms of like making sure that the business succeeds and does well. He's like a driving force for the company. The other thing is the team. The team are extremely dedicated. Everyone who's been there, like especially the ones that have been there from the beginning, but also the new joiners, everyone loves the brand. Everyone wants to work for the brand. Everyone wants to see the brand win. So that is really important, to have team members and an environment where everyone has the same goal.
Right.
And is all working towards the same thing. That's like kind of the internal drive. But then I also think we had the right kind of product at the right time, because we launched during COVID and we launched with loungewear and athleisure wear. So everyone was at home chilling, or they were doing home workouts. So that was the right time to launch this type of brand. So it was a bit of luck, of hard work, mixture of everything.
And then why is it called the Giving Movement? What's the name behind?
So we're called the Giving Movement because we donate to charity. So each item, we're raising money for 2 different charities. We've got Harmony House in India, and then we have Dubai Cares, which is Sheikh Mohammed's charity. So we were donating to those 2 charities, but now all the proceeds are going to Palestine.
I love that.
So yeah, that's a big part of it is positive impact, and like making sure that, you know, we disrupt the fashion industry, but we can also have a positive impact and give back, help people. You can do everything if you try. So
now you have what, like 4 or 5 stores, or how many?
We've got a lot. We've got stores in Kuwait. We've got 3 stores here, but we've got some opening. So we've got Dubai Mall opening next year. We've got a store in City Walk, but we're opening a much bigger one in City Walk, which will launch also.
Amazing.
Sorry, not next year. We're in 2025.
Yeah,
this year. This year, Dubai Mall's opening and City Walk's opening this year. And we just opened our flagship in Mall of the Emirates. And there's a big plan for retail this year. So stores are going to be popping up.
That's really exciting. I don't know, for me, you know, again, like I just love that you decided to, you know, go after something that you didn't know it's going to succeed or not. And look how it is now. Like it's one of, you know, it's a huge brand. And I know you're super proud to, you know, be a part of it. And especially in this region, like people know you, people know who you are. I don't know, to me, I just love people who love to take the risk.
Yeah.
I love that, because I'm such a risk taker my entire life, and I would drive my parents crazy. You know what I mean? Of course, I was always really good at school, but I was always an entrepreneur. Since I was a little kid, I was always an entrepreneur, and I have that from my dad. But I really connect with people who go after their dreams or something that they don't know how it's going to turn out.
Yeah.
And that's another reason why I want you to be on this podcast, is for people to see you can go this route. And yes, it's great too, right? You can work with these big brands and you have safety and all that, or you can take the risk not knowing what's going to happen.
Yeah.
But then look where you are now.
Yeah, true. I think especially in this region, I feel like here there's a lot of opportunity to succeed in these on your own and have your own businesses. And I feel like a lot of people do it here, and it feels like it is a lot of opportunities.
Yeah,
and
I agree.
You feel supported in that way.
What would you say were the biggest challenges when you started working with him, or just for the brand itself?
I think the biggest challenge was not knowing what I need to work on the next day or the day after. It's just more taking each day as it comes. But I think that is a mindset as well. So coming from a very like planned and regimented diary, where the whole critical path for the year is set out, and I know exactly what I'm doing each week, and I can tell you that from January, to not knowing what's going to happen this week or next week. That was probably the biggest challenge, but I think that was a shared challenge for everybody. So it was just one of those things where you need to adapt your mindset, and as long as you're okay with not knowing, then you're going to be fine.
Is there going to be a K brand? Is there something coming?
At the moment, I'm fully focused on TGM.
Okay.
I feel like I haven't got to that point where I feel like I've done everything. I feel every day I'm still learning. So recently I've just taken over the content team. So I'm doing design, but I'm also looking after the creative team as well now.
Oh, wow.
So like all the videographers, the photographers, the retouchers, the art directors, the stylists. So these are all my team now. So I feel like I'm growing and learning a lot of new things that I wasn't learning before. I think the first few years of TGM was just me in the design side and a lot of pre-planning. But now I'm on the front end and the front and the back end. So I'm right at the beginning of the process of planning the collections and planning what's coming. But now I'm also at that consumer facing end where I'm looking after like what kind of shoots are we going to do, what kind of content is right for the customer, right for the product. So it's a lot of learnings. It's a whole new thing that I've not done before. So
do you like it?
I like it. I like it. It's like a new challenge. It's a new challenge for me. So I'm learning a whole new set of skills. But what I've realized is that it's stuff that I enjoy. Like, I really enjoy photography. I enjoy art direction and creating concepts. And I love taking pictures. I love editing photos.
Thank you.
This is part of my creative outlet when I'm at home or in my own spare time. I don't post often, but I do enjoy the process of creating content and editing, etc. And now it's applying what I enjoy and what I love in like a whole new way. So I'm focused on that right now.
But I also heard that you also like to design jewelry.
I like to design my own jewelry for myself.
So is that, are you wearing anything?
This is my little pinky.
You designed that?
Yeah.
Oh, it's so pretty.
Thank you. It's just, I guess, a creative outlet outside of work. But I love to like design jewelry, but I love gold.
Me too. So much.
So much.
So much.
Too much.
I'm the same.
So I feel like, yeah, that's like a personal hobby, kind of.
Okay.
I like to design bits for myself.
You have to, okay, this is, we all need to know, I need to know, so you need to spill the coffee for that. What was the picture with Dom and Kanye West? Is there going to be a design with Kanye West? I need to know. We all need to know. When we all saw that picture, everyone was excited. I was like, oh, there's something coming. Is it?
No, I can't say no. No.
Is it no, you can't say, or no, it's not happening?
I'm not allowed to comment on anything about that.
Give me something, just spill a little bit. Can someone give her some coffee to spill? Come on. Nothing? Like literally just something? All right. But you met him? Not they, like nothing to do with the giving movement. Have you met him as, you know, like outside of like, you know, we're just not going to talk about the giving movement. Is he a nice person? Am I getting anything?
Sorry.
We need to figure out. Let's call Kanye. Does anyone have his number? No? Would you like to see a Kanye giving movement collection?
Kanye's been someone that I've always, like, I've liked his designs. What he's done with Yeezy has been amazing. I know he's very controversial,
right,
and people love him and they hate him. But for me, like on a personal level, like I loved his Heartbreak album. That was my ultimate album ever.
So good.
As a musician, I love him, and his vision for Yeezy is inspiring. So,
right,
like as an artist, as a creative, I personally, on a personal level, I like him.
Like I said, from the moment I met you, you know, there's space in my heart for you. Like it's like I connected with you from the beginning. I have so much love and respect for you.
Thank you.
And I, like I said, like I love people who, you know, can get out of their comfort zone and support other people. Like you supporting Dom, and you're supporting me, and with my brand, and now the podcast. And I don't know, I just really appreciate you, and I really appreciate for you being here, talking to me, and just sharing with the world your brilliant side. And I can't wait to see more from you.
Thank you. I appreciate that a lot, and I appreciate you bringing me here and wanting to have a chat, and you've got the best energy. So I feel like I'm attracted to you anyway, and your vibes.
It was awesome.
So, yeah, thank you.
Thank you, guys. So first of all, I just want to say thank you for the Intellect that we're able to be here and shoot. And they were so kind to give you something. So Dia, if you can just bring it to her, that would be amazing.
Thank you so much.
Something small, something great from Intellect. So I really, really appreciate being here and recording at their coffee shop.
Thank you. Appreciate it. Shall I open it? Okay, let's have a look. I'm gonna do an unboxing.
Okay, let's do an unboxing. Can you do it? I've never done it. What is in here? That's really cute. I love that box. Was that you? Of course,
this is so nice. I love the packaging. Aww. Creating the future.
It says inspired by the past in Arabic, and then creating the future.
Love. Aww, t-shirt.
Look at what it says. Did you read it?
It's funny, connects to Kanye West.
Oh my God!
And then the little tag on the front was actually inspired by the giving movement.
Aww.
Oh, really?
Amazing. Love it. Thank you.
Oh, I love that.
Love it. Thank you.
That's awesome.
And then we've got some coffee. Amazing. What roast is this? Sweet and vibrant, green apple, caramel, cinnamon. Amazing. Perfect. Perfect for winter vibes.
Dope.
And then we have some stickers. Intellect.
It's really cute.
Oh my God, I love this. You know, our label is, the original design behind our label is inspired by the road signs.
Literally
So
that's amazing.
On our label, we have the English, no, it's on my sweatshirt. Yeah, so the line around here. Our label's gone through many like evolving designs, but yeah, this reminds me of the initial inspiration. Thank you guys, appreciate it. Thank you.
So I also want to say thank you to the Giving Movement. As you guys can see, I'm wearing your design, and the whole crew is actually wearing the Giving Movement today. I am so appreciative that you guys are, you know, sponsoring us, and just like, you know, you guys are an amazing brand, and so thank you.
Thank you. Thank you for helping us represent.
Always, 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 always.
Thank you.
We cool?
Yeah.
We got it? Hey!
amazing. It's a wrap.
You did really amazing.